From the secret tools of the pit lane to the unexpected truths behind a Grand Prix, prepare to discover the untold stories of Formula One mechanics. This is F1 Mechanics Support. Our first question comes from the Tools subreddit, asking, "Mechanics, what is your favorite or most underrated tool?" Many of the tools we use differ significantly from those found in a standard garage. They can be incredibly specialized and often quite small. A particular favorite among our mechanics is the bit driver. Its super low profile allows us to easily change bits and access the most confined spaces on the car, tucked away beneath the bodywork, fairings, and intricate winglets. In fact, let's take a closer look at some of these essential tools. One of the most iconic tools for any F1 mechanic is the wheel gun, used to swiftly loosen and tighten the single wheel nut found on our cars, unlike the multiple nuts on a regular road vehicle. As the car enters the pit box, the mechanic precisely aligns the wheel gun with the nut. He positions it, pulls the trigger to loosen the nut, then reverses the gun's direction as the old wheel comes off. A new wheel is fitted, and he returns to pull the trigger, tightening the nut. Once secured, he lifts the wheel gun, pressing a button to signal the nut is tight, allowing the car to leave the pit box. This entire process takes less than two seconds. We also adapt everyday items like a standard leaf blower. We utilize these powerful blowers to rapidly cool the engine and brakes when the car returns to the pit box. We've even worked with manufacturers to optimize these tools, ensuring maximum airflow through the brake ducts and radiators, cooling them down as quickly as possible. Now that you've seen a couple of our unique tools, let's get back to your questions. Our next question is from YGG. Dumbest way you've ever lost a tool? I probably shouldn't be sharing this if Toto Wolff is watching, but I once lost a hammer while fitting a fuel cell. These cells are made from a very flexible Kevlar material. You insert the fuel bag into the car and then need to manipulate it into the corners of the cockpit to ensure it expands correctly within the chassis. My arms weren't long enough, so I used a rubber hammer to prod the fuel bag into place. I fitted it perfectly, installed the rest of the fuel system, and secured all the top hatches. The car was ready, sent out onto the track, and it was only a race later that I realized my hammer was still inside the fuel system. We've had other incidents where tools have slipped from mechanics' hands, falling deep into the V of the engine or between the engine and gearbox bell housing. In those moments, all the other mechanics just exchange a knowing glance, thinking, "Oh God, now we'll have to virtually dismantle the entire car just to retrieve this socket or spanner." The mechanic responsible usually ends up buying everyone beers that evening. A Quora user asks, "What is more important in Formula One, the car or the driver?" Naturally, we as mechanics would always champion the car. Drivers, of course, will champion themselves. It's an age-old question, really. The truth is, everything must work in perfect synchronicity. The car, the engineers, everyone back at the factory, the engine team at Brixworth, and of course, the driver. It's a true team sport, and that's why everyone collaborates so intensely, striving to extract those final, crucial tenths of a second from every lap. This next question is from Fogarty4. How to become a Formula One mechanic? I get asked this a lot, and I think the best advice I can offer is to start by mastering the use of spanners and ratchets. Whether that's from repairing bicycles or motorbikes as a child, or building go-karts, hands-on experience is vital. There are also colleges, including a couple near Silverstone, where you can train. We often recruit people from lower formulas. They might start in Formula Ford, then progress to Formula 3 and Formula 2. These categories serve as excellent training grounds for mechanics. By the time they reach us in Formula 1, they're proficient with spanners, torque wrenches, and have completed their formal training. They've tinkered with bikes, worked on motorbikes, built go-karts, attended college, and earned their qualifications. What's next? You need to get noticed. Be persistent. Email team members. Make yourself known. If you're working in Formula 2 or Formula 3, it's a great opportunity because these series often support F1 races. You're already there, traveling with the teams, meeting people. That networking is incredibly important. The next challenge is dealing with the pressure of strapping a driver like George Russell into the car on the grid, with countless people and cameras around you. You must cope with the travel and thrive within a demanding team environment, always being a good team player. From Gonzo5622. Do F1 mechanics get angry when their driver crashes? Yes, definitely. Some more than others. I try to remain calm, but many of the guys, especially the younger ones, can get quite upset. We are, after all, at the end of a very long chain. Thousands of people at the factory have poured their effort into producing every single part we assemble. When the car goes out on track and the driver has an accident into a wall, or something fails on the car, it creates an immense amount of work for us to put that car back together. This often happens after practice 1 or practice 2, leaving us with a very short time frame to repair the cars. It's truly all hands on deck to get the job done and the car back out on track. Next up, from Mean Divide, 490. Explain like I'm 5. Why are F1 drivers hot if wind is coming at them at 200 to 300 kilometers per hour? Imagine you're in a tiny, cramped box in places like Singapore or Qatar, where ambient temperatures can soar to 34 or even 38 degrees Celsius. Now, picture a blazing hot engine right behind you, scorching brakes in front, and numerous heat-generating electrical boxes surrounding you. The temperatures inside the cockpit can reach a staggering 48 to 50 degrees Celsius. To combat this, drivers now wear cool suits during races. There are also small ducts on the side of the car that blow cool air over them. Despite all these measures, you'll often see drivers emerge from their cars after a race completely exhausted and so hot they can barely stand. Our next question is from Great Moore. Explain like I'm 5. In Formula 1, why aren't all the drivers given the same car to test who is the fastest? That's fundamentally what Formula 1 is all about. Each car is designed by a different team, and they all interpret the rules differently. We also have various engine manufacturers, so it's not a one-make series. Every team designs its own car, and the one that does the best job wins. This question is from Calvazos. How does an F1 team manage to repair their cars in under a week after a horrible crash? Often, we have to do it in far less than a week. Our shortest repair window over a race weekend is from practice 3 to qualifying, which is just 3 hours, so we must repair the car within that time. Crucially, damaged parts are immediately sent back to the factory for urgent manufacture. Yes, we frequently rebuild cars in less than 3 hours. If we face a major accident and need to repair a car within that tight 3-hour window, we reallocate mechanics from the other car. We typically have 2 cars in the garage, with a group of 15 mechanics assigned to each. So, if we're repairing, say, George's car, we'll take mechanics off Kimi's car to assist with the rebuild. I recall a time in Monaco where we had an extremely short period to get a car ready for qualifying. We literally had only 2 people working on one car, while everyone else swarmed the damaged one to get it ready for qualifying. Next up, from M Green 888. What hand tool brands do F1 mechanics use? Many teams across the pit lane use a variety of tools. Beyond the standard spanners, torque wrenches, and ratchets you might recognize, we also utilize specialized equipment. For instance, we use tools ideal for trimming off minor damage when a car comes in, followed by a rapid setting adhesive to quickly fix the car and get it back on track. We also employ powerful fans to cool the chassis and brakes when the cars enter the pits. So, yes, we use many different types of specialized tools, in addition to the standard ones you might have in your home garage? This question is from Consistent Box 4430. No touching the car rules. The no touching the car rules primarily apply to parc fermé and curfew times. Curfew typically begins on a Wednesday. The car is covered, and we must be away from the circuit for a set period, usually around 13 hours. We return on Thursday, work until a specific time, and then must again leave the circuit. This system originated from a time when factory support wasn't as advanced as it is today, forcing us to do a tremendous amount of work at the track. Mechanics would often work all night, then return to the car the next day without sleep, so these rules were implemented for safety reasons. The other side is the non-work rule in parc fermé. After qualifying, you are strictly forbidden from touching or working on the car. We can remove bodywork for examination, and we can change fluids, but we are not allowed to physically alter any setup or components. We can inspect brakes and change fluids, but it's mainly a visual check of everything. There's another no touching the car rule that applies if we receive a 5-second or 10-second penalty during a pit stop. You may have seen this on TV. The car enters the pit box, stops on its marks, and everyone just stands there, doing nothing. This is incredibly unnerving for mechanics, who are accustomed to immediately diving onto the car to perform the pit stop. We have a mechanic with a large lollipop-style signal that goes over the top of the car. He holds it there, counting down the penalty time. As soon as it's lifted, the team rushes in to complete the pit stop. This non-touching rule for pit stops ensures we serve our penalty fairly and don't gain any advantage. You stop, serve your penalty, and then perform the pit stop. Now, this question is from High on Moon. What happens to broken F1 car parts? Well, since the introduction of the cost cap, we strive to repurpose all of them. Broken car parts are returned to the factory. We then attempt to salvage as much as possible to remanufacture the part. Often, if parts cannot be repaired or repurposed, they are transformed into trophies or memorabilia. Under the cost cap regulations, every penny spent on broken parts directly impacts our budget, so we must be extremely diligent in managing these components, either repurposing or recycling them. Next up, from von Schnitzelberg. Explain like I'm 5 why all the F1 race cars look the same. Simply put, we copy each other, much like road car manufacturers do. Everyone operates under extremely stringent regulations. While different teams interpret some rules uniquely, when regulations remain largely consistent over several years, as they have recently, the cars naturally converge towards similar designs. Cowboy N7 asks, do F1 teams have specific groups of mechanics that specialize in certain aspects of the car? Absolutely. We have specialists for the front end of the car, the rear end, hydraulic systems, and gearbox systems. And, of course, there are all the engineers providing direction to us mechanics. In total, each car has around 15 mechanics working on it. Our next question is from Quora. Who decides a driver should make a pit stop? It's certainly not us mechanics. Our role is to perform the pit stops. There are numerous strategists back at the factory in what we call the Race Support Room, or RSR, and we also have a strategist at the track. The on-track strategist makes the final call for a pit stop, which they then communicate to the sporting director. We'll already know which tire compound to prepare. The sporting director then relays this to me, and I dispatch the mechanics to perform the pit stop. We are always mandated to make at least one pit stop during a race, and we must fit a different compound of tires than the one we started on. This can be done at any point during the race. When the car comes in, it's my team's responsibility to ensure the correct tires are fitted to the correct car. A pit stop involves around 24 people, with 3 individuals per corner, including the wheel gun operator. As the car stops, he's rapidly removing the wheel nut. One mechanic removes the old wheel, while another swiftly positions the new one, The wheel gun operator then tightens the nut, pressing a button on the gun to confirm. The car is lowered, and the driver is on their way. We consistently aim to complete this in approximately 2 seconds. While some teams strive for faster times, our philosophy at Mercedes is to ensure every stop is perfect, consistently around 2 seconds. Our next question is from @tortfeezer039. Wait, F1 cars have wings. Yes, and we have to deal with quite a complex array of them actually. You have the prominent front wing and rear wing, and the numerous tiny winglets on the brake ducts and around the side of the car. For us, these can be incredibly problematic. Believe it or not, there's an entire department here at the factory that deals solely with front and rear wings. The wings are fundamentally there to produce downforce. We're constantly adjusting the downforce to maximize grip, directing airflow around the car for aerodynamic efficiency. It's a fine balance of generating downforce while minimizing drag as the car slices through the air. Next up, from Harvey XO, do repair costs count towards the cost cap? Unfortunately, they do. If a driver isn't particularly adept at keeping the car on the track or is frequently involved in incidents, it incurs significant costs for the team to repair the cars and replace or refresh all the bodywork and components for the next event. Next question from Bladina. Were F1 garages always this clean? I assume you're referring to the pristine garages you see on TV. I've seen pictures from the 1950s where mechanics were smoking in the garages, leaning over cars, and even fueling them up while smoking. Obviously, we wouldn't allow that anymore. We've all become meticulously organized. If you look around any F1 garage, headquarters, or operations center, everything has to be perfect. That's how we strive to present our garages and how we build our cars. A single mistake can profoundly affect the race. We keep the garages as clean as possible so that every tool has its specific place in the drawer, allowing mechanics to retrieve them quickly, especially during practice session changes. With someone like Toto Wolff walking through the garage, we need to spot any imperfection before he does, so everything must be flawless from the back to the front of the garage. The only time you might see the garages get a little dirty and chaotic is after an accident. If a car goes off into the gravel, the front suspension, brake ducts, and other components can almost disintegrate. When it's brought back to the garage on a flatbed truck and rolled off, there's gravel and debris scattered everywhere. We have people frantically sweeping up while others strip the cars as quickly as possible for rebuilding. So, yes, there's a bit of chaos, but it's always organized chaos. Next question is from Relative Romanov, an invention from F1 that would be useful in average cars. I think you're already seeing many of these in everyday cars today. The sophisticated software and sensors developed for F1 cars are now commonplace in road cars. Our energy recovery systems, for instance, are the precursors to the hybrid systems found in your road car. Furthermore, some of the materials we use, particularly carbon fiber, are increasingly appearing in road cars, and not just the high-end models. It's making its way into standard road cars these days. The final question is from Tunatastic369. What is the biggest lie or myth about Formula One that grinds your gears when you hear it? I heard a particularly memorable one the other day from a comedian. He claimed the front jackman likely holds one of the highest paid positions because he only works for 3 seconds on a Sunday. This, of course, is a complete fabrication. Our mechanics are working tirelessly from the Tuesday before a race right up until race day Sunday. While we can certainly make a difference during those crucial pit stops, all the preparatory work has been done beforehand, throughout practice 1, 2, and 3. The cars have been meticulously disassembled and reassembled countless times. That's definitely a major myth. Another myth I've heard is that each driver has their own dedicated pit stop crew, meaning George's crew would service George and another crew would service his teammate. That's not true. All mechanics form one cohesive unit for pit stops on race day. This unified approach is incredibly effective, as it doesn't matter which driver they've been working with up until that point. They all come together, and that's when we can truly make the difference between winning and losing a race. That's everything for today. Thanks for watching F1 Mechanic Support.